Hello, welcome. This is TJ with ADHDawareness.com. So today, this live hangout started and going to be discussing if it is possible to help ADHD without medication or drugs. So I'm just going to check the sound, make sure it's coming through. All right, let's check. Is the sound coming through? Hello. So today, there we go. It is coming through. All right. Good. So just started, so just had an idea a little while ago. I was like, hey, I should do a live hangout. Really haven't made a video in quite some time, and certainly haven't done a live hangout, live video in a really, really long time. Unfortunately, it's really short notice, so wasn't really planning on anyone being here. But if there just happened to be anyone who wanted to catch it live and ask any questions live or whatever, then I figured I would go ahead and just do it. So just here tonight, just kind of working on learning my, just learning web development, or actually it's learning Java. So software engineering, that's what I've been working on for a few years now, just trying to get a better job and just improve my living and doing something I actually enjoy. So that's something that I've been working on for quite some time, and just really utilizing my skills, my abilities as an adult with ADHD. Just being able to learn the way that I do, and having my ADHD symptoms under control. The things that I've done, that I've been able to do, I know is not going to be possible if I did not have my ADHD symptoms under control, because I know how it limited me when they weren't under control, and it was really difficult, really, really hard to do my job and to really improve and focus. And it is possible to help ADHD symptoms, but the thing really is, can it be done without medication or drugs? I know there are a lot of parents, maybe any adults can let me know. But I know a lot of parents don't want to put their child on medication, but they either hear from doctors that they have to put them on medication, it's the only way. Or maybe they hear or have tried alternatives, and the alternatives just didn't work. So there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of beliefs. There's a lot of things that are said. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight. What is the possibility? Given that I'm an adult with ADHD, it should be pretty self-evident that I grew up with ADHD. So I'm a living experiment. And doesn't work based on things that I've done for myself. But that doesn't guarantee that just because it worked for me, that absolutely will work for every single individual. And I know that's true. But given that I do have ADHD, and what works with me, with others, and then they start seeing the same or similar results, then I know it works. I know it'll work for more people. And I was just thinking tonight that I started doing this about 12 years ago. And I just kind of shocked, like 12 years ago, I started really looking at ADHD and trying to to find a way. Symptoms. 12 years ago, I had the thought that if I could just help my symptoms, I could get further where I need to be. I was working these low paid jobs, focused very well. I was extremely spacey. I would be spaced out and not knowing that I'm spaced out, and then I come to and I'm just sitting at my desk and I wasn't doing anything. I knew if I could just get a hold of my symptoms that I could accomplish way more that I know that I was capable of. With ADHD, and you're having issues, you're struggling, you're going through things. I've been there. I know what that's like, and I know it's possible. And if you're a parent with a child and you see what your child is going through and you want more for them, I've been there as the child. I have not been there as a parent, but I've been there as a child. I was in school. I was quite, and in many ways I still am, but I was quite the perfectionist, and I was extremely smart, really smart, like straight A's, and I wasn't in the lowest tiered classes ever in the. I don't want to say ever. When I came when I went left private school, went to public school, I was in some of the higher tier classes, and in private school I had just straight A's. But I also had challenges with my health that held me back. And tonight, that's part of what we're going to talk about. Growing up, I was sick a lot, and I'm not going to talk about how to get sick because I think we all already deal with that. But what we're going to be talking about is going to help with reducing ADHD symptoms, but it's also going to help with alleviating getting sick, making your body stronger. Doesn't mean you never get sick. This year, from January to December of 2017, I got sick, I think, twice. Once I was sick, it was on my day off, and I just didn't feel well. There was another day back somewhere, I think, in December. Let me think. Yes, I think it was in December. Yeah, it was. It was actually Christmas came. I was sick for a day, and came home. It was like at work in the afternoon. I didn't feel very well. Then I called out work the next day. Then day. So going from being a child, growing up into my teens, being sick a lot, missing a lot of school, to where now not sick very often. Only missed one day of work last year total, and it just happened to be that I got sick, and there's really nothing I could do about but rest. I mean, that's a total transformation. Now, you may have heard this that, oh, well, you grow out of it, but I don't think so. I think when you're younger, your body is much more stronger and able to handle things, and as you get older, you wear and tear in your body, and your body gets weaker. So you actually don't grow out of it. You can actually make things worse. So this is my website started in 2006, ADHDawareness.com, and my focus has always been reducing ADHD symptoms naturally. Given that, I think that the question's already answered. Is it possible to help ADHD without medication or drugs? Because after I started learning about ADHD and naturally reducing symptoms, after I learned about this, then I started sharing information about it. I started seeing the possibilities, and this has led me on a very long journey over the last 12 years. And I say 12 years because really it started for me in 2005. Not the website, but just the researching. And I'm always learning. I mean, this past year, I have learned so much, just so many things. It's a never-ending journey. And at times I learn things and it sounds good and it seems good, but then there are other things that come along that say, yeah, I don't know that that's really that information was really helpful. And so it's a never-ending learning process. But one of the things that's never changed, at least since let's see, sorry, I lose track of time. So let's say in the last 40 years, one of the things that never has never changed to help with ADHD, and we're going to scroll down on this site, and you can read all about diet, is this. Controlling ADHD with diet. One of the biggest things that's going to help ADHD. Now, you may have tried some different diets, tried some vegetables, tried some fruits, and then right away you don't see any changes. Maybe a month you don't see any changes. Because it may not take diet alone, but diet is going to help. I've worked with parents. They follow me. They follow the teachings that I provide. They made adjustments to diet, and they've seen complete transformation in their children. I'm thinking of a mother with a son. Part of my suggestion is don't give your children cereal. That is not a breakfast food. It's sugar, it's carbs, it's grains, it's carbs. You just got a whole bunch of issues you're just creating there. A whole bunch of issues that you're creating there. In the morning, you load them up with sugar. They're wired. They're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions and blood sugar problems. That's going to cause a whole bunch of problems. Starting with the fundamental needs for the body is absolute necessity. You need to have fats, proteins, vegetables. I'm going to jump over here to this resources tab real quick. I've got this 3 causes of ADHD symptoms course. I'm still working on updating this with just a lot of the new information that I've learned. But if you want to get this, and you can go here just at the top, you'll just go to resources. And then you just go to here, 3 causes of ADHD symptoms. Very inexpensive. Also, if you want to get some consulting time with me, you can do that here as well. So let's go back to the diet page. So there's going to be a lot of information that you can read here. This is an older video that I did a really long time ago, and some of the basic information is still the same. It has not changed. Carbohydrates, the sugars. You'll hear a lot that you've got to load up on your carbs and before workouts, after workouts, this and that, but it's just not true. Really, the sugar and the carbs are causing so many problems for most people. A lot of health issues can go back to grains, can go back to carbs, and just the way our bodies are handling it. Not saying that every single person needs to get rid of carbs, because you will get carbs. Your proteins may have some small amounts. Your vegetables are going to have some small amounts. But we're talking about getting rid of sugar. We're talking about getting rid of the starchy carbs to help the body. I know when I have sugar and starchy carbs that it causes me problems. It's all kinds of different issues. And let's just talk a little bit about diets. I mean, there's the gluten-free diet. There's the, what did I not change? I thought I changed this. So there's the Feingold diet. Feingold diet is an elimination diet, and this where you will pull foods out of the diet and see how does it affect the body. So if you pull out, say, eggs, and then you see a change, then you know, okay, it's possible that me or my child may have a problem with eggs, which at one time I did. I ate eggs, and it caused some really bad problem for me. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't. Maybe it's just the eggs. I don't know. But today I eat. I make a smoothie every morning, and in my smoothie I have 2 raw eggs. I have no problems with them anymore. None whatsoever. I don't know what changed. I know the eggs that I'm buying are local. They are like real. They're free range eggs on a family farm, like not the fake family farms that they have a marketing story for that they make up in free range. There's a lot to the terminology that people use, um, but yeah, healthy raw eggs, and so that's what the Feingold diet is. Just elimination. Pull things out of the diet, see what happens, see if you can determine what's causing issues. Now, there's a gluten-free diet, and I talked a lot about being gluten-free because that has been shown to show that it can help ADHD. One of the problems with the gluten-free diet, though, it means that you are or your child is consuming grains. Grains is it's a carb, and it can cause issues. It causes all kinds of issues with for me. It causes I get sores in my mouth. I have constipation problems with it. It causes, inflammation. It just causes problems. I have to just stay away from the grains. So gluten-free diet, that in itself, yeah, may not help. And removing grains from your diet, your child's diet, yeah, it because then you think about, well, the pizzas and the sandwiches and just a lot of the stuff that you begin to lose out. Now there is alternative breads that you could try to make, which we are currently experimenting, trying to find something good, a good bread that we can make. But so more to come on that. Now there are diets out there that are high protein, which when I say high protein, like the diet mostly consists of protein, and those have their own problems. My friend is currently eating a high protein diet. He's following some doctor, I think from France or something, who says that, oh, high protein diet's the best, and he says this doctor also says it's okay to drink your sodas and diet sodas, which as soon as someone claims that, I'm not going to listen to them. High protein diet, like Atkins diet, for an example, they can cause an odor and over acidification of the body. I mean, you can make the body become really acidic and just cause issues. And I've been following this guy, Dr. Berg, and he talks about just 4 to 6 ounces of protein per meal. So 4 to 6 ounces of fish or maybe beef or chicken, something like that. And so that's pretty much for an adult. Just adjust that based on a child, what they would eat. So there are low carb diets out there, just meaning that you reduce your carbs. And so that can help people, especially, low carb diet is popular for those with diabetes, diabetes. So that's definitely something that we're discussing here. There's a paleo diet. Now that's something that my wife and I were trying. A friend of mine, I've a variety of friends of mine were trying. I read about it. I listened to a lot of like different podcasts, watched some videos. I've read the articles. I read comments about the paleo diet. And it's supposed to be like this miracle thing that's supposed to change people's lives. And we did it. Like, it did nothing for me. Nothing. Get in. getting rid of grains because they're a big proponent of not doing grains. Okay, so getting rid of grains helped. So I don't say paleo did nothing. Getting rid of grains helped, and with the paleo diet, that's what we did. And then there's the keto diet, and which each of these diets there are different forms. And the keto diet there somewhere it's like 80-90% fat. So with keto, basically what you're doing is you are replacing fat with replacing the carbs with fat. So you can use sugar carbs as fuel, but you can also use fat as fuel. And so a lot of the diets out there talk about carbs for fuel, but they don't really talk about using fat. I don't know. Everyone's got their own reasons for their, um, for their purposes, and paleo right now seems to be going more mainstream. I'm starting to see it everywhere now. When we first started paleo, yeah, there was a lot of people doing it, but I didn't really see it as much in the stores. And now I'm starting to see it pop up like just all over. We've already skipped that. We're doing keto, and we're doing the variation that the Dr. Eric Berg talks about. And as far as carbs on the keto, depending on what health issues you're working on, sugars you want to just try to keep like any sort of added sugar really out of your diet. So meaning that you've got refined sugar, natural sugar, raw sugar, of that sugar. Could be all kinds of different sweeteners or whatever. So you just want to eliminate the sugar as much as possible. What is acceptable for sugar? Like none. So that's what you want to shoot for. That's the goal. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, you don't want those. You want to eliminate those. The sugars are for ADHD, are what's going to cause hyperactivity. Well, let me get a drink of water. Okay. The sugar is going to cause hyperactivity. It's going to cause mental fogness. It's going to cause the blood sugars to spike. And then at some point, the blood sugars, insulin's going to release and going to try to balance the sugars. And then there's going to be a crash. And so there's going to be, so there's definitely going to be a mood swing, possible depression. There's going to be, I mean, with sugar, it's some say it's a poison to the body. So it has harmful properties to the body, and we overdo it on sugar. If we didn't overdo it, we probably wouldn't be so bad off, but we overdo it. Sugar, we put sugar or some sort of sweeteners in everything. There are different sweeteners you can use. It's hard to get used to. It's hard to adjust them to use like you do sugar. You've got like different, you got stevia, got some different liquids. You've got powders. You even got the stevia leaves. You've got xylitol, so you got some alcohol-based sweeteners. You have, let's see, erythritol. There's different things that you can use. There's some different mixes that combine them. So let's see what else we have. And then as far as carbs, so carbs turn to sugar, and the goal is to have under 20 grams. So depending on what you're doing, we're talking about ADHD. So I think 20 grams or less a day. About, let's see, let me try to find something here. 20 grams. That has, let's see, ancient nutrition. This is one of the powders I use in the morning. So there's ancient nutrition bone broth protein powder. So it's a protein powder, but it also is said to have a lot of really great properties in it. Your body. Okay, let's see if I can get this to show. Total carbs. Okay, so this isn't what I was. Now this particular one here, total sugars, doesn't mean that it's added sugar, just means, sugars in there. Because like, for example, there's monk fruit extract, which some people are using in as an alternative to like sugar. It's a sweetener. So that would have some natural sugar to it. Let's see, let me think of something else. Because you're looking at net carbs. So when you say 20 grams, you want net carbs. And what that means, you've got your total carbs, then you will have your fiber, carbs from fiber, and then you'll have your actual carbs. So 20 grams of net carbs a day total. That's what you're shooting for. That'll keep your carbs low, and help a lot. So here you can watch a video about uh, it's a really short, and it's just answering the question, is keto okay for children? And the answer is yes. And so here's just an example of some of the things I do. This morning, it's the weekend, so it might have a variation of what we eat, what my diet is. Some eggs, and I had some salad, and I had some sausage. I could have had some bacon as well, and we had some cheese. And we're able to find raw cheese here. I know Whole Foods carries raw cheese. Try to get. You don't want to do a lot of pasteurized or homogenized dairy because it's not really good for you. And that might sound crazy, but while the homogenization and the pasteurization, all that's supposed to help with making it healthy, so that way it doesn't have bacteria that'll kill you. It can actually make the bad bacteria worse and just completely destroy the enzymes and the good bacteria. So that's where it's not good for you. And then it just really messes up your. So in the morning, what I do, this is what I do during the week. So I have a shake for breakfast. I put in 2 raw eggs. And I know there's a big scare. Oh, you don't have raw eggs, you're going to get salmonella. You're going to get sick. I've been doing this for a year now. I've never had any problems. And you just want to use the chickens that are raised correct with a good, healthy diet. And diet and grains and everything else is not a healthy diet. You want them out, being able to walk around and live life. So I've been doing 1 scoop of bone broth protein powder from Dr. Axe. Ordered, and I say Dr. Axe, him and uh, Jordan Rubin Nutrition, the company. We just ordered the keto protein powder. We'll see what that is. I put in 1 teaspoon of spirulina, or I got Dr. Berg's wheatgrass juice powder, or maybe chlorella, something like that. Get some good green powder. And I put in about 4 ounces of blueberries, or blueberry, strawberry, raspberries, or I might just put strawberries in. So I put in, and frozen, I guess I didn't put that in there because I like my drink a little cool. I don't like it. So I already mentioned cooked eggs with bacon and sausage, avocado. I forgot to put that in there, didn't I? Shoot. I put half an avocado in here in the shake. So that way, I got the raw eggs. It has protein. It's got enzymes. It's got fat. Got the bone broth protein powder. Also, it's got a lot of the same stuff, fat and everything else. Um, and then spirulina, give me some of the good greens, and get some blueberries. Issues with the sugar from fruit, then you want to just eliminate that. So just eliminate the fruit. And if you have any questions right now, if you're watching live, feel free to leave a comment. Uh, so then I'll see that, and I can answer your questions. You could also just email tj@adhdawareness.com, and then I'll get your questions there. So just Here, I also do when I eat my meals. I have nutritious yeast that should have said nutritional yeast. I don't do brewer's yeast. I know some people talk about that. Nutritional yeast is really good for getting B vitamins, getting a natural B vitamins. Just make sure it's not fortified with synthetic vitamins. They will put a synthetic vitamin B vitamins. I- I'm moving away from all the synthetic stuff. That's been my goal. That's what I've been working on. Get away from all the synthetics. I don't want the man-made stuff. They're pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceutical companies make drugs. It's the pharmaceuticals drugs that they put in your supplements in your food. It's all this synthetic stuff. Don't want it. And raw cheese. So I don't have cheese every day, but we get raw cheese here. Like I said, at Whole Foods, we've got a small store that also gets a different brand of raw cheese. So we try to get some raw dairy because it's good for you. Now, if you have problems with dairy, then please stay away from it. It's the simplest thing. If something's causing you a problem, don't consume it, whether it's healthy or not. If it causes problems, then that's a good sign just to stay away. And then always try to get my greens in, and greens meaning salad, vegetables. Get raw vegetables in. There are some vegetables where you want to steam them or lightly cook them. So not all vegetables should be consumed raw, but you also don't want to cook all your vegetables. So you've got kale. I mean, kale's a good vegetable to have. Sometimes we cook kale, and we have salad mixes that have kale and other greens in it that we eat. And just do the best you can, because you may not be able to eat salad. It might just be hard, like, because it's a taste you got to get used to, and maybe your child is just like not going to eat salad. So whatever help you need to do, if there's some sort of dressing maybe that you need to make or buy, just try to find something that doesn't have sugar in it. But um, when you're trying to avoid sugar, don't use the synthetic sugars. You just want to, when you're trying to improve health, you want to get rid of the chemicals out of your life, get them out of your body, because they're just going to cause other problems. So most of my meals, except for breakfast during the week, I make the shake. I've got the spirulina. Like I said, I've got the raw vegetables there, and the spirulinas. We've got a lot of really great health properties. So it's just some sort of protein. And like I mentioned, the goal is 4 to 6 ounces for an adult for your meat. And it could be sausage. And as Dr. Berg says, don't go for the lean meats, because the big thing is stay away from fat. You don't want to be fat. Stay away from the fat because you don't want to get high cholesterol. You don't want to get heart disease. And as Dr. Berg talks about, the cholesterol and the heart disease comes from the sugar, the carbs, not from eating the cheese and the bacon and the sausage. Choice between getting the fatty meat or the lean meat, get the fatty meat, because that's going to help your body. And I haven't talked about yet, as far as it has helped me. That's what we're currently doing, and that's what I'm currently discussing. So I've had a problem, and part of what I've already mentioned and what I've talked about for 12 years is that carbs and sugar cause a problem with blood. Carbs and sugar cause a blood sugar problem, and for us with ADHD, we've got amongst some other things, we've got some blood sugar issues taking place. And if we keep feeding our bodies, whether it's adult or children, we feed carbs or we feed sugar, then we're going to continue to have blood sugar problems, and it's going to get worse. And I didn't realize it until um, Dr. Berg was pointing it out, that if you have certain condition or certain symptoms, it's like you have insulin resistance. about insulin resistance was a situation that people had that were overweight, that were obese. I never looked at myself or thought about myself with insulin resistance. And he said that if you eat a meal and you're not satisfied or you are starving after your meal, you've got insulin resistance. And I was like, that's me. Like every time I eat, it's like I need to eat another whole meal. That's how I feel because like I'm starving. It's like I didn't eat anything at all. And he said, if you can't go from one meal to another meal, then you also have insulin resistance. I'm like, in the morning I have my meal or I have my shake, and then like I've got to have a snack or two snacks or three snacks between meals because even if I eat a snack, I'm still like starving. I can't even make it to the next meal. So now that I've changed, I've already mentioned earlier that I've got rid of grains. Sometimes I cheat and I'll be bad, and I'll have maybe a slice of pizza or two. I've got grains out, and it's just I've replaced carbs with fat. And what's taken place now is that able to and I want to point out too is that I'm also taking a couple supplements to help cortisol and to bile salt. So Dr. Berg's bile salts. I'm taking those two things. And I want to point out something too. I keep cutting myself off, but I've tried so many things. I've tried a lot of different supplements and how I can help myself. I've tried for 5, 6, 7 years of taking supplements to help with blood sugar, help with digestion, from following a friend of mine, a naturopathic doctor, and it never really helped. Months since I've been doing the keto diet, and off and on been taking the cortisol supplement to help reduce high cortisol, help with the bile salts to help with digestion. I can go from my meal or my shake that I have at, and I can go all the way up to 12:30, 1 o'clock until I have lunch. I mean, if you think about from 6 a.m. up to 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I mean, that's a really long time to not eat food and to not get hungry and not to have low blood sugar. Like, I've been hypoglycemic, meaning low blood sugar, for a really long time. And here I am now. I can go between meals for a really extended long time and not have problems. And then I can eat my meal and actually feel like, oh, okay, I've eaten, I've had enough anymore. So this is how diet will play in with helping ADHD. So right now, my goal is for myself is to sugar insulin resistance problems and help heal my gut because I believe with those two things, definitely related and connected, that I'll probably eliminate all my problems that I have, which I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot of problems. I'm really successful at my job. And here I am just giving testament as an ADHD adult. Like this is, as an adult, successful too. For your ADHD child, they can be successful. And I'm one of I work in a customer tech support call center. I am one of the producing employees in my department. One of the top. And if you have a rating at your company, I was barely shy of a superior contributor at my company. Proud of that. Because given that I have ADHD, that I can accomplish something like that, and I know who I am, I know I'm ADHD. I know, given with ADHD, I've got abilities, I've got gifts. There's the downsides, good positive sides that I can really push myself and I can really succeed at what I do. So part of the education of what to do, I also want to make sure that I encourage you and I let you know what is possible. I'm drug free. I've tried medication, I've tried drugs for a really short time. When I was in high school, I was on medication for a little bit. I didn't like it. I hated how it made me feel. Other than that short time, like I haven't had to use any sort of medications. So it's doable. We haven't really talked about fruit except for maybe a little bit of fruit in the shake. Fruit is great. You know, I love it. I love fruit. Who doesn't love fruit? It's sweet. It's kind of like candy. The problem is that there's a lot of sugar in fruit. Now, there's certain fruit like berries that are lower in sugar, but if you eat enough of it, you'll quickly feel the sugar from it. So sugar, just say, kind of keep it, keep the amounts really low. So it's not really something that is needed. And there are people, who will say, "Oh, you need to eat fruit. Oh, the sugar, it's different. It's not like sugar that's bad for you. If fruit, it's sugar. It's sugar. Unfortunately, have like I mentioned, like 4 ounces of frozen um, fruit or berries in my shake in the morning. That's all the fruit I'm going to have. Fruit. Now we did just the other night make our own. Um, it's like a pudding. It's I don't know. It was just like a chocolate pudding. My wife put and so kind of like a treat. It's not like we have it all the time, and it was really good. So there's the extreme where it's like you could avoid fruit and never have it. Depending on how extreme it is, it may be called for. Like, don't ever touch fruit until you get on the other side of where you're at. That that you may not need to touch, like you may don't want to touch any carbs at all until you get on the other side of your health issues. And then what about drinks? Well, we've got water. And water for some people is really hard. And I think I know why it's hard. Really hard to drink one because you're get used to the certain flavors and the sugars, the sweeteners in the drinks. But also with water, whenever there is any sort of or chemicals in the water, it gives it a certain flavor which is like really hard to drink. So here's what I do. I'm just gonna point this out. I drink reverse osmosis deionized water. There's reverse osmosis, then there's reverse osmosis deionized. It's just an extra, and it's very similar to distilled. I drink either one of these two. It's very pure water, clean. It doesn't have the flavors like you get in your tap water, because your tap water could have medications, chemicals, minerals. It all has flavor to it. It's just very clean. It's very easy to drink. It's very smooth. Information out there about distilled water, it's up in the air. Is it good or is it bad? There's been people in the health niche movement a long time. I mean, I'm talking like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And their claim to fame is distilled water. It's the best water to drink. And they've had good health. They've helped other people have good health. So that's my thing, that if I drink distilled water and my health doesn't deteriorate, then I'm it's got to be fine. So this is just about diet, and I wanted to go over this and just give you a start of where to start. And diet's going to be the biggest thing. There are supplements out there, but what I found is that when I was taking supplements, supplements helped. When I first got started started taking some supplements, and this really changed my life. But what I noticed is that the supplements took me so far, but couldn't get me where I needed to go. And what I needed to do to get there was now to make adjustments to my diet. And after all these years, just over the last, I think I finally found it with the keto diet. A friend of mine was telling me about it probably about a couple years ago, and I was reading about it. I was like, yeah, I don't know about that keto diet. And after doing paleo, now doing keto, I'm starting to see results that I was looking for. And there was a lot of things that, in regards to eating and diet, and that I heard about that, just kept me away from keto. But so now I'm trying it, and it's helping a lot. And there are people who are using keto and keto diet to really change their lives, get control of their hormones, help their health. And so I'm doing the same thing. And so I just want to invite you to just go along with this as well, and just see what kind of changes that it'll make. Just keep your fats healthy. Coconut oil, try to get unrefined, unheated. Just get the raw. You can put avocado oil. I've been buying avocado oil from Costco. Nut oil. I get like organic olive oil. I'll put that on my salads. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to incorporate some fats. If you can get some raw cheese and cut up some small raw cheese and put it on your salads, whatever, to help get fat. So having animal fat, butter, bacon, sausage. Um, you get when you get hamburger. What I've always tried to do is get like 80, 85%. So that way it has some of the fat. It's always easy eating the 80, 85% fat. That's what we've been doing. So it's helped us a lot, my wife and I, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And I think that you could see a lot of changes in the results of what you were looking for with this. So that's my recommendation. And if you like, visit ADHDawareness.com. And if you'll scroll over to here, ADHD diet, or at some point I may change my site. So if you don't quite see it there, you could just search for it, look for a search box. But just come down to the bottom of the page, and if you have any experience with keto diet, or if you're watching this video, just leave a comment here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a question. So I would really appreciate that. Any sort of feedback that you would leave. And I don't see any comments. I didn't receive any emails of any questions. So with that, just want to point out again, just the resources page. I've got this 3 causes of ADHD symptoms course. I'm currently working on redoing this. Just adding a lot of the new information that I've been learning. Some of the new stuff that I've been learning over the last couple months, I just shared here tonight. So I'm going to be redoing this to add a lot of that in. This has other additional information that I have not talked about. If you want to just consultation, then you can get that here on the resources page. And here, I'll probably be changing this page just because there's a lot of this, with all the learning, just the different things that I'm doing. I currently have, some different remedies here. So we've got flower remedies. So these can help with emotional issues, and possibly could help with maybe behavioral issues. Getting off of the carbs and the sugar could help with behavioral issues. So moving over to fat, protein, and raw vegetables and some cooked vegetables. And let's see what else we have. So essential oils don't have anything there. Talk about, let's see. Here's also some fats. So cod liver oil. This is a great way to get some really good fats. And you also get some natural vitamins, because this is something important that we need, which we need to start getting some of this. I believe vitamin A, maybe also vitamin K. So having that from animal sources is really good. Vitamin A and D, there we go. Yep. And if you think you may need some probiotics or got some enzymes, let's talk about some cleansing. So there's just some different supplements on this page you can check out that may help. But if you have any questions, you feel free to let me know. And I thank you for stopping by and checking out the video. And again, as I said, visit ADHDawareness.com. And I'll jump back to the home page. And if you're not already on my email list, you can scroll down just about on any page, and you'll see the free ADHD guide. So this is basically just an email teaching all about ADHD. I'm just going to send you to some different pages, some different videos on my site about ADHD. And like tonight, I had this live hangout that I was doing. I sent the email out, which unfortunately this was planned really late, so didn't give really much of an advance notice. So you can sign up for that here. And on just about any page, you can leave a comment. Good night.